Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It is so greatly appreciated. It truly is. Before I get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so because it really helps me out and I really appreciate it. And today we are going back down the Reddit rabbit hole with a story time that I have not read yet. So I will be reacting to it with you guys for the first time right now. Crazed man holds my girlfriend and I at gunpoint. This takes place in the rural farmland of the southeastern United States. For those from around the area, you will know there isn't much around except for old farmhouses, fields, and the occasional subdivision. When I was around 17 or 18, I was dating a girl who went to the same high school as me. Being teenagers, we needed a place to be alone, and what better than the front seat of my Ford F-150. Often it was hard to find a place to park that was away from the road and was far enough away from everyone. One evening, as the sun was getting ready to set, I remembered an abandoned house with a long driveway and a tobacco barn off some old back road with no other houses. I had been there before and explored the property. The home's roof had been abandoned long ago and currently had been used to store lumber. The house had no doors or windows left, and the rest of the property was clearly in disrepair and didn't appear to be used at all. I figured this long forgotten property would make a good spot, so I drove my truck up into the driveway, far away from prying eyes. I put my truck in park, lifted up my center console, and put on the radio. As my girlfriend and I were talking, she suddenly stops with her eyes glued to the rearview mirror and says, I think someone is here. I initially blew her off as I was fairly confident no one was around for miles. But I glanced in my rearview mirror to see a very beaten up looking Ford truck had pulled directly behind mine and the door flew open. Out jumped a tall, dirty-looking man holding what appeared to be a 30.06. Say 30.06. With a weathered wooden stock. As I put my window down, the man advances yelling all types of obscenities from the side of my truck as he walks up. I hear the distinct sound of the safety clicking off of an older rifle. I froze as the world stopped around me. I had never been held at GUM point before. As soon as the shock wore off, I threw my hands up and I see the man and his sights aimed on me through the rear window of my truck. I looked over to my girlfriend who was frozen in shock and somewhat cowered into the passenger door. I remember feeling helpless and reaching for my pistol I usually had between the seats, which I quickly realized I'd left at home. This was probably a blessing in disguise, as the strange man was clearly belligerent and under the influence of something. I'm sure him seeing my pistol would have just sent him more over the edge. As my hands are up and my girlfriend is shaking in fear, I eventually mutter out, "What's going on, sir?" The man, through rotten and missing teeth, shouts, "You sons of bitches come out here tearing up my fields and ruining my crops." He clearly had mistaken me for some of the ATV riders around the area who would often wander onto the private property and tear up the land. Looking at the man, he didn't look like any of the farmers I'd known around the area. Having lived there 15 years at this point, I was fairly familiar with the local farmers. The supposed farmer looked maybe in his early 30s and looked to me more like the junkies I would see downtown. I replied to the man that I had never been here before or that I was responsible for destroying his crops, trying desperately to defuse the situation. He wanted to hear none of it and continued to mutter while still holding me at GUM point. I waited for a break in his incoherent babbling to apologize profusely and say, "Sir, if I had seen a no trespassing sign, I wouldn't have dared step foot on the property." The man advanced from behind my truck to my open window to yell, "Didn't see no fucking sign?" He didn't believe me. As I studied him, he continued to grip the rifle tighter and mumble to himself. I apologized some more and offered to leave when I noticed he has me completely blocked in. There's nowhere to go. As soon as I mentioned leaving, he perked up and dropped the rifle ever so slightly, putting us out of immediate danger. My fight or flight briefly chose fight, but I knew there was no way to jump out of the truck and get him before he could shoot. Time seemed to slow, and I felt like the silence that ensued lasted hours. He started to yell obscenities again, but started to walk back to his truck. As he passes my rear bumper, my girlfriend and I exchanged glances. I'd never seen a fear like that in someone's eyes, let alone someone I loved. I knew I had to do whatever I could to get away from this unhinged stranger. I fired up my truck and put it in reverse as he does the same. The beat-up Ford backed onto the road and stopped, waiting for me to exit. I backed into the road as well, my eyes never leaving the rearview mirror. As soon as there was enough space, I threw my truck into drive and stomped the gas pedal down as fast as I could. My tires squealed and the truck roared as it ran through the gears. I was familiar with the roads and was confident I could outrun him if need be, as his truck looked like it was on its last leg. As the speedometer flew past 60, I could see the man following us, but enough distance from my truck it would be hard to put a hole in my tailgate. My girlfriend is calming down at this point and is trying to rationalize what just happened to us. I drove and drove for several miles, constantly looking behind to see if he was following. I briefly remember doing over 100 miles an hour at some point. The mood in the cab changed to utter disbelief as we talk about how crazy the supposed farmer looked and awkwardly laughing off our near deaths. I never saw that man again after and never returned to the abandoned house, except for the next day to leave him some ruts in the front yard of the rundown property. Looking back, I haven't had the slightest idea as to how the man knew we were there, as we weren't visible from the road, nor were we followed. I personally think he was just some tweaker, as I know most of all farmers in the area. And being in a small town, you know everybody. I never seen this man in my life, nor have I seen him since. I certainly was in the wrong being on private property and had heard horror stories of people running from crazed farmers as bullets flew over their heads. However, a couple of kids parked up in what was clearly a forgotten property several hundred yards from the nearest field shouldn't have warranted a firearm pointed at me and my girlfriend, who were sitting in a clean truck that obviously hadn't been tearing up any fields. Coming from a farming family and being close with the farmers in the area, the last thing you would catch me doing is tearing up someone's livelihood. Regardless, I put my life and my girlfriend's life at stake just to park up somewhere and fool around. I never made that mistake again. I think we all do dumb shit. I did a lot of dumb shit. I gotta be honest. I think that you're forgiven. I do. Nothing terrible happened. You guys both got out of it perfectly fine. You learned a lesson. I feel like you're fine. I, 32 female, believe my husband, 33 male, is cheating with a student, 18 female. What do I do? Trigger warning: emotional fidelity, verbal abuse, grooming, and pred behavior. July 8th, 2024. I'm freaking out right now. My partner is a high school math teacher. He has been teaching now for a decade and generally has been praised by students, parents, other teachers, and admin for how he does his job. We've been together for 7 years and we got married in 2023. I have never worried about him being interested in his students. We have even talked about teacher-student relationships, and he has never expressed anything other than disgust and how it's an abuse of power, even if the student is an adult. not specific instances, just movie instances and general topic discussions. He has never been called out for being inappropriate that I know of. Never engaged with students over the weekend or summer vacation unless it's school related, but even then, all contact is through school email or with the students' parents. He generally refers to his students as his kids, as I do too, and actively keeps a distance from developing too close of a relationship because he is young, attractive, and other male teachers recommend he do so. Okay, here's what happened. Around March, we were at the movie theater one evening, and I noticed a gaggle of girls staring and pointing. I notified my partner, assuming they were his students, and he told me that I was right. We did not go over to say hi. We have seen his students before out and about, and he says hi on a case-by-case basis, but typically doesn't initiate. And they did not come to us. But I noticed the rest of the girls playfully shoving one girl with lots of whispers, and the girl was staring at my husband sheepishly. I immediately thought that she probably had a crush on him, and honestly thought nothing of it until last weekend. We were celebrating Canada Day at a barbecue with family, and my husband was pretty wasted. At one point, he went to the bathroom and didn't come back for so long, I was worried he was getting sick. So I went to check on him. When I knocked on the door, he said it was me. He said he was okay and he would be right out, but didn't unlock the door. He stayed in the bathroom for another 10 minutes. Super unusual for him, but it could have been anything. He could have been, yeah. I mean, I feel like I would have thought he's probably throwing up in there or something. Like, but I also would have like hung out around the bathroom to make sure that he was okay. Later that night, I woke up around 3 and he wasn't in bed. Worried again, I got up and found him on his phone in the living room. This is also unusual. When I asked what he was doing, he was definitely surprised and hid his phone screen. He said he couldn't sleep and didn't want to wake me up by watching videos next to me in bed. We both went back to sleep together. The next morning, he was hungover and slept in. I went through his phone. I have never not had a reason to trust him, so I have never gone through his phone. I found nothing of interest except for the Snapchat app, which was not logged into. He used to use Snapchat, but from what I know, he had it in years. I honestly assumed nothing finding the app and figured I was reading too much into things. Later that night, I saw a Snapchat notification pop up on his phone while we were watching TV. It was out of the corner of my eye, but the logo is too recognizable to mistake. My heart effing dropped because knowing he was logged out last week means he's definitely using it secretly. I pretended like I didn't notice, and a couple minutes later, he got up to take a long poop. I cried while he was in the bathroom. Shortly after, I said I was going to bed early, and he stayed up without me. He's on summer break. When I got up for work, he was still passed out. I went on his phone and found no Snapchat app. It was then that I knew something was shady for sure, and when I looked up Snapchat on the home screen, it was there. Just hidden in a folder of apps disguised as cooking and workout apps. He had not logged out of Snapchat, and when I opened it, there was only one conversation with a real human, and it was a girl. There was no evidence of conversation between them because, for those who don't know, Snapchat deletes previous messages for good. I was ready to confront him for cheating with basically zero evidence, but decided to keep snooping for something concrete. In that same disguised folder, I found out that he had OF downloaded. The only content creator he was subscribed to, the same username as the woman on Snapchat, but it's his fucking student. The one from the theater who was blushing. I have never clocked a face so fast. I am 100% certain. We make fun of OF Sims all the time, so I was already disgusted, but I actually threw up when I found this. I was scared I was going to wake him up and genuinely didn't know what to do. So I put his phone back and left for work. At work, I did some sleuthing and was able to find the girl's Instagram and Twitter accounts. She's 18, and from grad photos, I could tell with certainty that she attended my husband's school. The same OF link was in her Twitter bio. He has texted me normally throughout the day, and I have not responded to any but to tell him I have to go to my parents tonight. But in reality, I am still at work because I don't know what to do. The reality is that this is effed up, but she has graduated. Is this now just the same as any old affair? I don't even know if she is in any of his classes. I don't know what to think. I have ideas. I don't know what to do next. Lawyer? Should I ask my husband and see what he says? Should I ask her? Edit to edits. Anybody know how to, if you can tell when an app was first downloaded? I don't know, can you? That's actually, well, I don't have that information, but I don't currently need that information. I might need it at some point. July 9th, 2024. The next day. My post blew up and there were many update me comments, so I want to update. I read every single comment, but there's way too much to reply to. To clarify some things. No, I didn't have pictures or screenshots of the Snapchats or OF. I was so upset I didn't even think about it until afterwards, and I thought there would be another chance to get them. I realized I effed up. For some of my comments, my brain was still reeling. I'm 100% leaving my husband. To make it clear, it took me some time to come to terms with what actually was happening and the fact that I was in denial. But Reddit helped me get there, so thanks. I have to say, you made that decision really quickly, so good on you, girl. The comments were about 50-50 split between talking to a lawyer or my husband first. The reality is that I didn't think I had anywhere else to go at the time, and I was so emotional last night and felt like I needed to know. I wanted to confront him and rip off the Band-Aid. He called me while I was still at work, and I ended up telling him we need to talk. He seemed thrown off by this and canceled plans to stay in. I didn't get home for almost 3 hours after that, crying and deciding what the F to do. Ultimately, I went home. If you're ever in the same position, don't do what I did. I want to follow the advice of many comments by basically saying I know about her, but I really want to get pictures of the evidence first, so I planned on playing it cool, saying never mind, all is okay, until we went to sleep, and then sneaking back on his phone. I shouldn't have said anything on the phone, but my emotions got the better of me. I am actually incredibly guilty for that as well, and I have learned the very, very hard way that you need to just play it cool, okay, and play stupid. That's what I've learned. Play dumb until you get everything that you need, because the second that they think that you outsmarted them, well, let's be honest, women usually outsmart men, sorry, no offense, they're just going to start deleting everything. All your evidence is going to go away. But when I walked in the house, I immediately felt like he knew that I knew. He said, "What's up?" super standoffishly. Just seemed off, and whatever I said on the phone must have tipped him off. Either that or he was able to tell that I was on his phone in the morning, somehow, pretending to be asleep. I'm not sure. So I couldn't control myself and got super emotional and confronted him on the spot. I asked if he had OF. It was the first thing out of my mouth, and he literally said, "No, what did you want to talk about?" I told him I knew that he did, and he denied it. I told him I went on his phone this morning and scoffed and walked away. I followed him, crying and screaming that I knew he had OF and Snapchat, that I was leaving him, and finally cried out something about cheating with his students. When I said that, he immediately turned around and asked what the F I was talking about. I told him that I knew about the girl, 18 female, and his face genuinely turned into somebody I didn't know. He immediately began yelling in my face that I don't know what I was talking about. How dare me accuse him of sleeping with his students, that I'm crazy and trying to ruin his life. I was screaming back. I told him to open his phone and prove it. And he laughed in my face about how stupid somebody would be to do what I'm accusing him of and basically threw his phone at my face and said, "Knock yourself out." As people could probably guess, there was nothing. He definitely knew before I got home. He was logged out of Snapchat, and when I asked him to log in and stop lying, he logged into a different account and asked me if I would drop it now. The first one had just the 18-year-old student and a few AI account things. This one had all his college group chats and other people, including me. He gaslit me and swore he didn't have another account. He even suggested that I dreamt all of this. Oh my God, the only thing that I want you to do more right now is just out him completely. I want you to name, picture, everything. That's the only thing I want for you, because he's doing this to you and I'm getting really mad about it. Sorry. At one point, he finally admitted that he subscribed to an OF for a streamer during one of our intimacy lulls, but never a student, and he swore he lied because he loved me and doesn't engage in that kind of behavior anymore. It was just hours of lies and gaslighting. He said that he knew which student I was talking about, but that he's never spoken to her or taught her. Also, that doesn't make it okay, because first of all, it's disgusting. Okay, that's fucking gross. Stop. I get it. She's 18. That doesn't make it less disgusting. He didn't recall the movie theater incident and accused me of imagining it too. He denied receiving a Snapchat at all a few nights ago when I first saw it. He denied acting shady the days before. He denied everything. I absolutely believe every word you're saying. I believe every last word. I was absolutely disgusted by him the whole night. As the conversation went on, he started to talk about how he's going to get us marriage counseling, that my trust issues can be worked on, and he would leave teaching if it's what it took for me to stay, but never admitted to anything with a student. Admittedly, I was starting to get a bit of a gaslight fog about the situation, believing some of what he was saying, but when he volunteered to leave teaching, I knew it was worse than I thought. Because teaching is his everything. He gave up an amazing opportunity which would have made him 3 to 4 times the money and way more recognition to teach, and has never complained about his job a day in his life. We both know he loves his job more than he loves me. If this was truly all a misunderstanding, or if it was a one-off with a graduated non-student, I just think he would do more to protect his job and his career. He wouldn't just leave over crazy behavior from me and give up financial stability. Let's not forget that, okay? Because then you would be dropping down to one salary until he found something. That immediately told me everything I needed to know, that he was panicking on the inside about me leaving and telling people. Maybe because more happened with the 18-year-old student than I thought. Maybe because he's done this before. I'm not sure, but he effed up bad. He sure as shit did. So late, I was so exhausted, and I feigned agreement in working through it and told him I could move past it. But I was obviously lying. I need time to get shit in order. He's sleeping in the guest room tonight, and I told him I would need a lot of space, and he said he was okay with that. He left his phone in our bedroom for the night as a peace offering. I hate his fucking guts. I have so many things on my mind right now. What the F to do, how to get a lawyer, if I should tell my family, if I should tell the school, the fact that I have no proof, but I know what I saw. The fact that I'll be 33 and divorced. Above all, the fact that my husband may have slept with this girl. That's my gut telling me, because he kept repeating that he would never sleep with his students over and over. When I was using words like cheat with, look at corn, or sexed with. So that's the update. I was gaslit and lied to. I got no sleep last night, but still went to work this morning to get away from him. He hasn't texted me or called all day. I want nothing more than to go to the school with this info. My heartbreak is gone, and I'm just angry and disgusted and want to right his wrongs. But I need him to admit to it so I can know how bad it is, and I don't think that he will. I was thinking of telling him I reached out to the girl. I'm not going to. And see if that freaks him out enough to come clean. But what if she doesn't know he's using a fake account? Or just saying I have proof, even though I don't. Anybody have any good ideas? In the meantime, looking for a divorce lawyer ASAP. First, get an attorney. Follow the advice of said attorney. Second, any chance of contacting this girl's parents? That's what I was thinking. Contact the girl's parents. I'm sure they would have a better chance of finding proof and have every reason to want to do so. She responds, I thought about contacting her parents. I don't know if they would care though. She's 18 and my husband works at a school with a lot of disadvantaged kids. I would care I wouldn't care if my kid was 18. I would be. Teaches advanced maths and said she wasn't in his advanced classes. She's never been in his classes and she's not a smart student. Oh my God. He said that. She's not saying that. Just so we're clear. She's not saying it. He said that. So he would never have a reason to interact with her. If that's the case, who knows what the parents would think? I'm also scared it's overreaching in that she could get in trouble for having an OF if I tell her parents. I will ask the lawyer once I speak to one. First of all, I'm glad you're safe. I was very concerned your husband might hurt you when he realized you knew about the student. Please get a lawyer and then go directly to the school. You don't need proof in the way that you mean. You tell them exactly what you found and they will open an investigation. As you already know, this girl's friends know what is going on. It will not take long for whatever the specific facts are to unravel. Also, you do have evidence. Your testimony about what you saw is evidence. Yes, the school will need to corroborate your statement. That is their job, by the way. But you certainly have evidence sufficient to alert the school at this point. Please do so. I'm not going to repeat what I said earlier about the many reasons why, but simply that I think you know it is the right thing to do to protect the students your husband has access to as a teacher. Yes. I'm very sorry this happened, and I hope that you also get therapy if you can to deal with all this and your husband's gaslighting. You do not need him to admit to anything in order for you to go to the school. You are not the intermediary here for him. The school will carry out its own investigation and the facts will then come out and you will know how bad it is. You're not an investigator or prosecutor of your husband. You have evidence of a concerning nature about the safety and welfare of students involving a teacher at the school. What else is there is not your job to find. I would really advise you to not engage directly with your husband anymore on this topic. He's already become extremely angry with you for raising it, and you pushing for information is going to be interpreted as a threat from him. Please disengage ASAP from your husband, leave this in the hands of the school, and get to a safe place where you can organize your divorce. Do you have somewhere you can stay? Go there. Do not talk to your husband and definitely do not tell him things to see if it freaks him out enough to come clean. This is extraordinarily dangerous. Please do not do any such thing. They're right. I feel like nobody ever wants to think that things would go there, but then again, on the other hand, we've seen this so many times. And I feel like if it comes down to getting rid of you or ruining his reputation and the job and it coming out and the job that he loves and oh my God, I'm so sorry. You might be the one that goes, and God forbid. They're right. They're absolutely correct. I feel like maybe she knows this now. Like I feel like she didn't know this at first because she's like me. You just like I would do the same dumb thing and I would just go crazy and I would spit out all the information that I knew and then I would sit back and be like, what the fuck did I just do? How dumb am I? Like, I feel like I would do something like that. Not give myself enough time, which I'm trying to work on. Because I do. I jumped the gun because I need answers right now. Like, I always say this about myself too. Like, oh, I work with special needs children, and the number one thing that you have to have when you work with special needs is patience. I don't have patience when it comes to my own life. Like, I want answers right now. I want my answers. I want them now. See, I'm shaking the table. I want my answers and I want them right now. That's how I don't know. Maybe all my patience goes to them. Let me just see if there's any other good comments to touch on. Okay. We both know he loves his job more than he loves me. Honey, I know the comments about how dangerous this is are probably easy to dismiss with a, he would never do that. But a few days ago, you would have said he would never done any of the things you've discovered, that he would never scream in your face the way he did. Most women who are by their husbands would say up until it happens, he would never do that. You need to really let it sink in that the man you thought you knew doesn't exist. Maybe never did. You've been living with a con man whom you don't know. You should assume that every word he said to you before and after this is likely a lie or not the truth. This guy is capable of anything. The only thing he cares about is himself. There is no, he would never do that because you don't know this guy. Your first priority should be getting yourself to safety. Go stay with family, a good friend, anywhere you can be away from him for an extended period of time. Suck up your pride, honey. This is the wrong time for it. Are you safe? Lawyer up. Get the divorce rolling and go see his school with your lawyer per the very good advice you've gotten from the other comment. Do not try and bait him. Don't listen to anyone but your lawyer. Don't let anyone convince you that you need proof to do any of this. Your priority right now is to protect yourself because the second your husband thinks you're going to out him to the school, you're in danger. Real danger. You're also in danger afterwards because you don't know this guy and he may try to destroy you and blame you for destroying his career, even though he is the one that has done it. Don't play games with this guy. Don't look for closure or truth or an explanation or to try and understand his motives. Get yourself away. Seems like that is the consensus, and I couldn't agree more. All of this, please listen to this. He almost certainly has a history of doing this, and the school will dig and find all kinds of evidence. The girl's friends know. Once the first person talks, the dam will break and the truth will come flooding out. Especially when you're talking about teen girls, because they're going to get scared. Hopefully. Other people will talk and he's going to be fucked. Don't let him gaslight you. Don't let him treat you this way. He's trying to push you into a corner and keep your mouth shut because he's caught and he's scared. Time to find out why he's so scared and protect yourself in the divorce. Piggybacking off this to corroborate, I worked for the largest county school district in our state, and they are extremely thorough about investigations into teacher-student misconduct, as all school districts should be. OP, you don't have to have anything to show them. Just tell the district superintendent, not someone at his school that could possibly sweep this under the rug for him. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. My first husband turned out to have a proclivity for teen girls, and I couldn't divorce him fast enough. It was truly sickening. Just be safe and don't confront him. My ex attacked me in a drunken rage, and I'm lucky to be alive. Oh my God. I want to prove to him that he can't lie to me and get away with this. Let go of that. I was a teacher. Believe me, if a teacher is involved with a student, you do not need proof for every other teacher and school administrator within a 100-mile radius to hear about it. Evidence doesn't affect that. This exactly. His name will be blacklisted from every district in range, even if he's not arrested or something. He will never again get a favorable reference. Also, as a teacher, I just want to add that the fact that this dude never complains about the job and that he could have been making 4 times what he makes now, but somehow didn't take the job is so weird to me. Every teacher I know, including myself, complains about the job even if we truly love it. That's very true. Very, very true. And I don't know a single person who wouldn't leave any job if they could quadruple their salary, let alone leave teaching. This is really dark. It might be a reach, but it makes me think that maybe your husband has been having these thoughts for a while and wanted a job where he could have easy access to that age group. It's not wrong. I'm just saying, you offer me some shit like that, I'm out. And I love my kids. I love those kids, but I have to love my own more, right? There are a lot of comments here. People are incredibly invested in this story, as am I. I don't even know what to say. I really don't. First of all, it's so disgusting, but my heart honestly broken for this poor girl. I can't even imagine. I just want to hug her. I do. I just want to like hug her. I don't know. I'm going back and forth in my head if I should even put her name out here, but I don't think so. Just because I'm thinking with everything that's going on, I don't want to be the person that puts her name out. So that's that. If she updates anything, I will bring it back because now I'm incredibly invested and I want to know what happens. And yeah, there's just one more comment I want to go over because it looks really, it looks pretty lengthy, but it also looks like it has a lot of good advice. I think it would be wise to get counsel from a lawyer before making one more move. However, I do think there's a few things you need to really consider. I understand you wanting proof. Why should you break your back trying to do all of the digging on your own? Work smarter, not harder. By all means, hire a PI if that feels right. However, as pointed out by others, the school will be obligated to do a formal investigation if you go to them and share what you've seen. In addition to contacting the school, you can contact the police and share your story with them as well. In our current culture, these kinds of things are taken very seriously, and they should be. I truly believe school authorities or law enforcement questioning a few things of this girl's friends will unravel this thing pretty quickly. That's what I think too. I think that especially teens, they fold like lawn chairs under questioning. They do. And if they think that they're gonna go to the big house, they are going to sing like a fucking canary. These are a bunch of kids, easily influenced and intimidated, and also easily jealous, petty, immature. One of them just may want the glory of being the one who breaks the whole thing. And I wasn't going down that road, but she's not wrong. If it truly is much worse than you initially feared, and I agree that it probably is, there are many potential victims who may have been scared to speak. That's the thing that I fear too. She's not the first. An official investigation may encourage them that justice is truly possible and cause them to step forward. You creating an investigation gives them a voice. You have a moral obligation to protect all of the girls in his school, period. Yes. Yes. It is so very necessary for you to speak up. Beyond that, you may have legal obligations as well. If he's ever caught in the future and it is discovered that you knew what he did and never came forward, you may face some serious fallout, including civil lawsuits by victims coming after you for everything you own. It sounds fucked up, but if I was on the other end and God forbid that was my kid, I would burn you at the stakes. No, no. But I would come for you. I would come for you, especially if I thought that my child this could have all been prevented if you just opened your mouth. I'd probably come for you as a mother, but I'm also the mother that attacks first and asks questions later. So don't always go by me. I'm just saying. Please don't believe one single word your husband has said, including that this girl wasn't in his classroom, which isn't relative to what has happened at all. She was still a student. He was still a teacher. Bottom line is that he has every reason to lie to you. And he already has lied to you. How many times? He has proven he can lie. Everything that comes out of his mouth needs to be interpreted through those lenses. He's not the man you thought you married, which I understand is devastating. You also need to grasp that this truth means you do not know him. He's capable of far more than you ever realized, which means you are not safe. People who stand to lose everything do horrific things in desperation. It's not something I'm saying just to write a sentence. That's reality. A reality you need to take to heart. You are not safe with this man. You should not spend one more night under the same roof as him. None of the things you are concerned about, such as shared expenses, will mean very much if you're dead. I always say that. It doesn't mean shit if you're dead. Nothing. Get a lawyer, get a therapist, talk to the police, to the school, hire a PI now, as in immediately. Listen to wise counsel from all of these fields who have people trained and equipped to deal with what your husband has done. You have a lot of emotion right now, rightfully so. Please understand that decisions made based on emotions are often not sound. So what the people from above fields have to say is crucial information, helping you taking the right steps to protect yourself, to protect the girls in your husband's school, and to hold him accountable. Wow. I'm so sad for her. I really, really am. I'm so sad for her. But I absolutely agree with all of these comments. I agree with all of them. It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. And short of maybe his family, depending on how hard they go for him, you're going to have an enormous amount of people that are going to have your back and that are going to really, really rally around you, including a whole shit ton of strangers, which me being one of them, because my heart's broken for you now, but I do believe that your number one concern should be the children, should be the girls in that school. I don't honestly think that this was the first one. Maybe it was. I don't know. I don't think so. I feel like if it was really the first one, would he be that good at, I don't know, hiding it all? You guys are still here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you so, so, so very much. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't yet. And until next time, stay safe out there.